So unfortunately, winter's here. Well, for me anyway. There's no snow on the ground yet, but we are getting dangerously close to the snowpocalypse. Usually this is the calm before the storm. And usually, for a lot of people, when it gets dangerously cold, of course, their heating bills are going to get dangerously high. Now, there are a few ways to mitigate this, with soundproofing, of course, that you can kill two birds with one stone. Now, if you do this correctly, you'll be soundproofing and also saving a lot of money on your power bill. Now, if you have an older home, you will probably realize that in the winter you're losing a lot of heat. Now, there's a few tricks that you can do, and some people are doing it, but it's not working as well as you might think. Now, one thing that you might have already tried that a lot of people try, it's a really inexpensive thing, is just a window seal kit. The problem with these, yes, they are inexpensive. Yes, you can apply them DIY, but the problem is it doesn't do much for soundproofing and it doesn't do much for heat loss. Now, it does work if you have a lot of draft coming in, and then after you install that window kit, the draft is gone, but there are better ways. There are more expensive ways. However, all of these ways, you can do them DIY. They'll be more expensive in some cases. However, the added cost of this project and the materials that you might need to buy will be offset with the money that you save on your power bill, on your heating bills. So the first thing, let's look at the windows. So first thing that they always say is get rid of the draft. That's the simplest way. But how do you get rid of the drafts and actually make it work? Because as I said, if you just add that window film, you're kind of getting rid of the draft, but it's not really doing anything for soundproofing, and you'll come to find out that it doesn't really do much for heating cold, because you'll get right close to that window, it'll be very cold. That cold will dissipate inside that room, and it just doesn't work that well. You can go a step further, pay a little bit more, and get something like a window insert. Now, window inserts are a lot more expensive, but the thing is with this type of material is that you don't really need to do anything. You just send measurements to this website. I'll have a link in the description below, and they basically take care of all the rest. You'll have to pay probably $500-$600, but then it's done. You're good to go. The window will be soundproof. It'll fit your exact window, and you might be surprised at how well it works. Now, if you don't really want to spend that type of money, which is completely understandable, you can just seal around the window. This also works around a door. Now, what you need to do is get some acoustical sealant and seal around the casing anywhere that you can feel a draft, anywhere that you can see light coming in. Then obviously, if there's a draft coming in that's cold and or warm, and of course you'll have sound leaking in and out of the room. Now, as I said, to mitigate this, add some acoustical sealant. If you're not too sure how to go about this, video right up there. I'll show you a few tips on how to make the sealing work the best way possible for you. Now, you just add it around the window itself if there's cracks, and also a place that a lot of people don't really think, especially in older homes, around the window casing. If there is quite a crack around the window casing, you might be surprised at how much noise and even weather can go through that if it's not properly insulated. So make sure to do around the window and around the casing, also with the acoustic sealant. Now, why I would choose acoustical sealant versus just another typical cheaper sealant? Yes, you'll pay a little bit more for the acoustical stuff. It's not so much for soundproofing, it's for the weather. Because if you especially put it around a window, the difference between acoustical sealant and a cheap just caulking, the acoustical stuff will not crack over time, it'll stay rubbery. Now, this is good for heat and cold. Of course, when it gets colder, it'll just brittle and it'll crack. Now, some of you might think I don't really need acoustical sealant because I don't live in a cold environment. Well, one thing that people don't really realize is they also help with vibrations. Now, if you open and close the door, it'll create a vibration. If you slam the door, if you're really mad, if you slam the door, it'll create a bigger vibration, and that will make your cheap caulking crack where the acoustical stuff will not crack. Windows, the same. The homes will shift, and that is where most of the cracking will happen. With the movement of the home window casing, it'll just crack, and it's perfectly normal. But acoustical sealant will mitigate that problem for years to come. They say about 5 years, but usually it lasts a little bit longer than that, so it's great. If the gap is a little bit wider than what acoustical sealant might be able to handle, then just get some Weatherstrip. Now, if you're not really sure how to apply Weatherstrip, there are a few tips and tricks on how to do it right, where the self-adhesive actually works properly, because I've been seeing a lot of people posting and saying that I've used the self-adhesive Weatherstrip and it just doesn't work that well. It just unsticks. Video right up here will show you exactly what you're doing wrong, if in fact you are doing it wrong. Now let's say you don't really want to bother with acoustical sealants and weather stripping or any type of construction. You can go and buy sound deadening curtains. Now these sound deadening curtains, you can also find, they're also called blackout curtains. They're much thicker. They're usually 3 plies, which really helps with sound deadening inside your room. And also it helps a little bit by drowning out a little bit of the noise coming from outside. Now, these curtains will work a lot better, of course, if there are no drafts. If everything is tight, everything is sealed, but of course the window is so cold. Just close the curtains. Those thicker curtains will really help in insulating a little bit of your home. But if you have a window insert and then you add the blackout curtains, you'll find out that it works pretty good at both soundproofing and making your room sound better, because really these curtains are not that great for blocking sound. They're good for making your room sound better, but they do block a very little amount of sound. But as I said, it will help with heat loss. Now, another thing that you can use is of course, a bottom door sweep. Bottom door sweeps are great for, of course, soundproofing the bottom of the door. But a lot of people, they will have a bottom door sweep on their metal door. Almost lost it. On their metal door going outside. Now, a lot of weather strips on the bottom of the door, they tend to wear out over time. Chances are you have a weather strip or some type of door sweep at the bottom of the door leading outside. Now, all you need to do is go at the bottom of the door, touch it, feel it. If the weather strip is uneven or just chewed up, that could be a problem. So the best type of door sweeps to buy for this type of application would be the U-shaped door sweeps. That's the one that I would recommend for outdoor. Now, video right up here will show you exactly how to install it, and also a little trick on how to make it work a lot more better, not only for heat and cold, but also for soundproofing, and to make it last a lot longer by using another product in conjunction with that. So I'll have links in description below of all these products. They will lead you to Amazon or Home Depot, and those are affiliate links, which means I get a commission for if you go ahead and buy the products. If you don't go ahead and buy the products, if you just click on that link, it just shows that I'm actually driving traffic there, and it helps my content. It doesn't cost anything more to you, and it just helps me out. And if you don't really know how to help me out, click like, subscribe, and go buy my products through my links. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hasta la vista.